Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Estrella virtual visit series. My name is Allison Campbell with Estrella Consulting, and I am so excited to welcome Juliana Kelly from Ohio Northern University in Ada, Ohio. Our
Hi.
virtual visit. Hey, hi, how are you? Thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Our virtual visit series is designed to introduce you all to a variety of colleges all over the US and allow you to get to know the institutions and their staff in a more personal way. So thank you so much for being here. We would love it if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you have been at Ohio Northern University.
Absolutely. So this will be my sixth year at Ohio Northern. Four of those were as a student, to be perfectly honest. And so this is my second year as an admissions counselor, and I love it every day.
That's awesome. I feel like there's such a natural transition for many of the people that are in admission to go from being a student to working right for their institution or their alma mater because they loved it so much.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Was it what you had planned? Were you like going into this like, I think I could work here? Or what was your original plan and how did you fall into
Yeah.
loving Northern?
Yeah, great question. So originally, I'm from Cleveland and I had two goals when I was looking at colleges. I tell everyone this. I wanted to leave Ohio and be in a big city. And then I ended up in a small town in Ohio. So it was not at all what I expected. But I kind of went to a smaller high school. And when I was going around doing my college visits, I ended up really connecting with the professors at Ohio Northern. I think the professors there are really committed to making sure the students feel like what they want to learn is important to their college journey. And so I found out that it was a better fit for me. So I would encourage all students to kind of go and trust their guts and visit schools that they might not think that they're going to like, because just like it surprised me, it may surprise you. So originally I went into Ohio Northern studying. I have a degree in musical theater with a minor in arts administration and a minor in theater technology. And I still do that on the side. I have a agency that like sends me some auditions and I get to do some acting, and admissions is a great kind of flexible job for that as well. Um, but also my husband is still a student at Ohio Northern, so that is part of it as well. Um, Something that I love about my job in admissions, though, is that I get to connect with students one-on-one. So that's my favorite. I get to meet with students when they come to Ohio Northern, when I go visit their high schools, and talk about all of my experiences, because I kind of did it all. I studied abroad for a semester, had two minors, worked three on-campus jobs, involved in lots of clubs and all sorts of stuff on campus. So I'm happy to talk about all of those experiences.
I love that so much. I think, like you had said, I think a lot of high school students, they come into the college search process with kind of an idea like, oh, I want to go to a big school with Big Ten football, or I want to go
Mhm.
somewhere far away and warm, or whatever. But then
Absolutely.
when it really starts getting closer to that time and you're working through a list and what is important to you,
Mhm.
what are you going to study? Can I afford this? This is going to be a good social fit. You find that sometimes those hidden gems or ones that are closer to
Yeah.
home completely the opposite of what you thought you had in mind are going to be the ones that fit you the best. And
Mhm.
visiting colleges is so important. So, do you coordinate a lot of visits for students to come to Ohio Northern?
So I don't personally. We have a wonderful visit coordinator, but if you just go to onu.edu/visit, it's very intuitive. We do Monday through Friday, morning and afternoon. So all day, every day, we have visitors come on our campus. We're open selected Saturdays, and then we have some big group visit days as well. What's nice about the big group visit days is if you're not quite sure about the academic program or maybe some of the extracurriculars that you want to go into, if you're on the fence, in those big visit day programs, there's this nice big fair time where you can walk around and talk to as many professors from as many academic programs as you'd like to. And the marching band is there and the Black Student Union is there. So that's kind of nice. You get to kind of see a little bit more about all of the options versus when you come for a one-on-one campus visit, you get an hour one-on-one with one professor from your intended area of study, which is awesome. You get to know that professor, see if they'd be a good fit for you. But if you're really like back and forth between 4 or 5 majors, sometimes the polar preview day, which is a big visit day, may be a better fit.
We've been advising a lot of our students right now, especially our seniors who have maybe narrowed it down to 5 to 10 colleges and they're making those secondary visits. And even our juniors who are starting to step foot on campus and a few sophomores as well, trying to get in on some of those big visit days are really wonderful because you do get a taste of everything and you get to see the
Yeah.
campus buzzing, and there's just like the red carpet kind of gets rolled out, but
Yeah,
also having that one-on-one time is excellent as well because you get to like make a deeper personal connection. You can sit in on a class, you can do it kind of at your own
absolutely.
pace or leisure. So I'm glad that there are those opportunities either way for the students.
Yeah, I'm also the overnight visit coordinator. So if students who are accepted to the school want to come and do an overnight, then I can set you up with a full day of classes and a student to host you. If that can be a good kind of second, maybe third visit, if you're really trying to narrow in your options. Every time anybody comes on our campus for a visit, you can try our dining hall for free, you get a free t-shirt. We'll roll out a mini red carpet, maybe a pink carpet for you any day. So
That's
I think
awesome.
that we do a great job of making it a very personalized experience.
Yes, and I think, I went to Baldwin Wallace, which is a liberal arts institution also in Ohio, just
Yeah,
having that, the smaller enrollment, the smaller class sizes. I would love for you to talk a little bit about Ohio Northern's, again, enrollment, the type of
yeah.
student that you might see that kind of matriculates to Ohio Northern.
Absolutely. So we're kind of on the big end of small. We have about 3,000 students on our campus. What's nice about a school that size is that it's large enough that you feel like you're on this university campus. It definitely crosses the line into like there's people buzzing around during class changes. People don't tend to go home on the weekends. And we have all of like the resources. We have a full student center and student success center and gym facilities open to students. But at the same time, it's never so busy that you can't walk right into a study room in the library, a practice room in the music building. So you can really utilize those resources that you're coming to college to get. Um, our incoming freshman class has about 700 students, which is a bit on the big end for what we usually take. Usually we're between 650 and 700 for our incoming class. I would say the type of student that we see at Ohio Northern likes a challenge and has lots of interests. We mentioned that those polar preview days were great for getting to know lots of different academic programs, but Ohio Northern is also a place that once you're there, if you've got interests, go ahead and dip your toes into them. We have 5 colleges on campus, a college of engineering, pharmacy, law, business, and arts and sciences. Especially in arts and sciences and business, there's a ton of minors that will work with all of our majors. I know a pharmacy student with a dance minor. I know a computer science student with a business minor. So even within some of those colleges, there's room for you to kind of stretch and see what is inspiring joy. We also know that 70% of students change their major. So one of the things that we like to do is get you involved in that major right away. So hands-on experiences, direct entry for nursing, pharmacy, engineering, all of our programs are direct entry. So
Okay.
definitely a student that likes to work with their hands will do well at Ohio Northern. In our engineering department or College of Engineering, there's 24/7 access to the students, to all the maker spaces and 3D printing labs. For our nurses, we want to get you into a hospital freshman year. Our education majors get into a school freshman year. So we're really big on that getting knee deep in the mud thing. And I think students that enjoy that will definitely thrive at Ohio Northern. Did I answer all the parts of that question?
Yeah, and I'm going to take it on another tangent because you kind of teed it up for me. When I
Mhm.
think of Ohio Northern, and I think a lot of people think of like their incredible pharmacy program, their
Yeah.
strong engineering. And I know from an undergraduate standpoint, it's really hard to find a small private liberal arts school that has like an undergraduate that's already geared to pre-law. I mean, we'll see them at the
Mhm.
large like state or public institutions,
Yeah.
but to have that as one of the 5 colleges is pretty fantastic. Would
Yeah.
you say, I mean, well, you can answer this as far
Mhm.
as are there prerequisites or minimum requirements? So you said direct entry. Do you have to have a certain GPA or test score to get direct admitted into pharmacy or nursing or engineering?
Yeah, great question. So it does vary a little bit by college and by major, but all of our programs are test optional. So you don't have to submit a test score, although we do accept them. And there is a little bit of financial benefit once you get into the zone where you're in the top 50th or 25th percentile scores. So a test score cannot hurt your admission, but it can help your financial aid, if,
Right.
if that makes sense. Um, Typically, I'm trying to think how not to make this super complicated by giving you 15 different numbers for 15 different majors. Um, I think the best way is just to contact me and have a little conversation about it. But for the College of Engineering, it's a little more competitive. We like to see at around a 3.0 I don't want to give you a number because it depends. It depends on the student that you are. We read your transcript as a story, and your application as well. For nursing, I will say there is kind of a hard number where we like to see that you have a 3.6 GPA and at least a 3.3 with your STEM GPA, your math and science. That's kind of one that has pretty easy cut and dry requirements. So I feel totally comfortable shouting that from the rooftop. Um, but I think that that's kind of a good standard for any of our majors, is that's kind of the zone that we'd like to see you at. Not saying that it's impossible without those grades. There's definitely room to come and chat and see what ONU may have for you. But
Okay.
our average GPA is a 3.8. I'll put it, I'll say that.
Yeah.
We
Pretty
tend to
competitive.
attract those kinds of students that are kind of looking to be challenged because we're definitely in the business of challenging our students. That being said, there are so many resources on campus to help you succeed, from a free tutoring center, free writing center, individual faculty advising. So one of your professors is meeting with you once a semester to make sure that things are going okay and you're enjoying your coursework. So it's a very personalized place. I know I kind of dodged that question, but it really is, it's really about your story. So.
I feel in the world of higher education, the ultimate umbrella quote is it depends. So, you know,
Mhm.
every phase of the admissions process, we find that it depends. So that's totally okay. And I do encourage our students that are watching this or families that are watching this, just connect
Mhm.
with Juliana if you have more questions about your specific student or your whatever circumstance you have going on. So that is
Mhm.
totally an A-okay answer. So again, we talked a little bit about the pre-professional programs in some of your colleges. So you mentioned that business and arts and sciences had a number of majors that were extremely popular. What would you say are some of those? Can you give me maybe a few in business and a few in the arts and science colleges that are popular majors?
Absolutely. I think I may have misspoken. I was a little bit trying to talk about how there are lots of minors that can be combined with all the majors, but there are lots of majors as well. So sure. I will say our top majors at the university are pharmacy and mechanical engineering. In the College of Arts and Sciences, forensic biology is huge for us. According to forensiccolleges.com last year, we were number 3 in the country. We have a crime scene house and a cadaver lab on campus. So that's kind of a little known fact. Incredible forensic biology program in the College of Arts and Sciences. We also have a very strong education program. We have a Center for Teachers Education on our campus, and nursing. We have a several-year streak now of 100% first-time pass rate on the NCLEX. So that's wonderful. As far as the College of Business, I would say a lot of our students are general business and then maybe find their passion once they're here, whether that's entrepreneurship, finance, accounting. Cool thing about our business college is that we are AACSB accredited, which is a global accreditation that about 5% of schools manage to keep and maintain. So that's awesome. Um, does that answer? I think that answered the
Yeah,
question.
that
That's
was
a
great.
couple majors from each of those colleges.
You mentioned that you were music theater as
Yes.
well. I feel like I've heard that Ohio Northern has a
Mhm.
great music theater program as well. So
Yes, we do have a competitive BFA musical theater program. We audition in New York, Chicago, and then several private uh, audition conferences as well, Moonifieds, CAP, etc. Um, what's cool about our musical theater program is that we do 7 to 8 productions per year and bring in 30 to 40 guest artists per year. So our students work with a ton of professionals from all over the country and the world, which is great because it's all a relationship game. We want our students to feel connected, and we do a great job connecting them with our current working alumni in New York, Chicago, LA, and wherever else they're looking to move. So we really set them up for success in that way. In the musical theater department. And then we have technical theater and a BA in theater, which is a little bit more flexible as well.
okay, that's great. Thank
Mhm.
you for expanding on that a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
You mentioned how, as students are applying to Ohio Northern and your test optional, which is totally fine.
Mhm.
But if you were to send in your test scores, it would obviously help you a little bit more financially, assuming
Mhm.
a rubric of some sort or, some sort of, criterion.
Mhm.
Are there any, let me rephrase this. If a student was to apply, are they going to be automatically, awarded merit scholarship? Or is there something additional that a student must do maybe to get something additional? Or like, is it just, again, based on your application, that's the number, or are there
Good
names?
question.
hidden scholarships that a student could look for?
Absolutely. So the bulk of your merit-based scholarship is your GPA and transcript. With a perfect test score, you're only adding $2,000 to that number. Our average financial aid package, to put it in perspective, is about 28,000. So your test score, we definitely heavily lean on the 4 years of work versus the 4 hours of work, as I like to say, because the test is not the end-all be-all of intelligence. That being said, there are also a couple of other scholarships that you can apply for through ONU. Those merit-based scholarships are automatic based off of your application. We are a Choose Ohio First school, so for about 12 to 15 of our STEM majors, we have some state funding available for students from Ohio, up to $8,000 per year. And that's a no essay application, so that's a great one. All of these that I'm mentioning are on our scholarships page on our website as well. We do have 2 full tuition scholarships, one for all colleges, all undergraduate colleges, and one for just the College of Business. Those do require a test score of 30 and 29 respectively, along with a GPA of 3.5 to apply. And those are due in January. So that's like our earliest deadline of things to be kind of on the lookout for. Choose Ohio First is due in February. We also offer talent award scholarships for non-music majors who play in some of our more time-consuming musical ensembles like marching band, symphonic band, and orchestra, as well as talent award scholarships for majors in English, art and design, music, musical theater, and dance minors. So
And would
those,
those
go
be
ahead.
ones that they would be considered for upon application, or, once they're admitted to ONU and, they're an English person, or they indicate that they play the tuba or something, will they be asked to apply for those named scholarships, or is that something, again, that you're able to discern from an application and offer on top of their merit-based award?
Yeah, great question. So for some of those programs like music and musical theater, they require an audition to just get an acceptance or denial from the school. So your talent award scholarship will be based off of that. For non-music major awards who like just like an engineering student that wants to be in the marching band, they need to submit a separate audition, and those are due in March. It's just a song of your choice and a scale of your choice. So it's nothing crazy, but that is another kind of deadline to look out for. Same thing with portfolio reviews for English, technical theater, and art. Those are something that that are part of that application process. So just to be in communication with your admissions counselor and your faculty to make sure you're getting that talent award scholarship is a little bit more on you.
Okay.
We also have a couple of scholarships for like legacy students, children of Methodist ministers, because we're a Methodist affiliated university, a couple of various things like that. We do have a scholarship to increase the racial and ethnic diversity on our campus as well, and all of those are available on our website to take a peek at too.
Okay. I'm taking notes as you're telling me all this, so I'm just going to
You're all
say,
good.
speak with your counselor, or there's information on your admission
Mhm.
financial aid page.
Yes.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
lots of internal scholarships from ONU, is kind of the takeaway here. I can't list them all. There's like maybe 15 on the website.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. And I love that you're doing all of those things to make ONU more affordable for your students. I think my one colleague Jamie has this amazing resource that we've shared throughout our IAC community, and it's called it's a basically hidden scholarships. So,
Yeah.
if you don't know that they exist, like, you should be on the lookout for these. And
Mhm.
most of the colleges do a pretty good job of just doing, automatic scholarships at the time of admittance,
Yeah.
so you get it back,
Mhm.
you're eligible for. But there are, named scholarships or additional scholarships that are kind of hidden in the nooks and crannies of a website or in a
Mhm.
particular major, and just trying to kind of dig those out, because it could make
Yeah,
such a difference if you're between ONU and Bon Wallace, or another couple.
absolutely.
Find those
Mhm.
extra thousands of dollars is going to make a big difference. So
Mhm.
appreciate that, and I
Yeah, of
will note all
course.
that down. So let's talk a little bit about living at ONU.
Mhm.
So your residential campus, I know that Ada is very, very rural.
It's a
So
little bit of a small town, yeah.
yeah, and I mean, that's a draw for some students. And again, as you're navigating, you're 16, 17, 18, trying to figure out what your next step is, you think, oh, I want to go to, I wanted to go to NYU. And then I went to NYU and I was like, where's the green space? Like, what is going on here? It just not fitting the mold of a traditional college campus for me. But I
Mhm.
just thought New York City's great. It's going to be awesome. And it just scared me to death. Um, so I mean, again, visiting ONU, visiting Ada, and just making sure that's the right vibe for
Mhm.
you. But can you tell me a little bit
Absolutely.
about is there a residency requirement? Like, do most of the students stay on campus or close to campus?
Great question. So we do have a 3-year requirement to live on campus. And then that 4th year, about half of our students continue to live on campus, just because I think the convenience of living on campus is really nice. All of our on-campus housing comes with air conditioning and heating, so no earning your AC over here, which is great. As well as free laundry, free Wi-Fi, utilities, and furniture. That 4th year, there are some lovely places to live around in Ada that have been specifically designed for students. So 1 and 2 bedroom units, houses that have kind of been split. But then you have to figure out how to set up water with the city and pay your own Wi-Fi bill and all of that fun stuff. So that can be a really empowering step for some young students. And some students want to be like, you know what? I'm cool staying in my on-campus apartment. We do have several dorm styles, including aforementioned apartment where you have a full-size kitchen and living room and have your own room. So I think that's part of the reason why students feel that they could stay on campus. Your freshman year, you're going to share a room. You have either the freshman dorms with a communal bathroom with the sharing a room, or we do have an honors facility that's a little bit further away. That you still share the room, but you have a bathroom just between the two of you is the biggest difference in that housing situation. Lots of people light up at that, but then you have to remember that with great power comes great responsibility. You have to clean that restroom versus the communal bathroom. You don't have to worry about a thing, right? So,
True. And again,
yes.
you just teed up for me. My next question was asking if you had an honors program and what does that look like? What does the application process look like? So we
Mhm.
didn't mention there's honors housing, so there's probably an honors program.
There is an honors program. Yes, our honors program is designed for a very self-driven student. You would take at least 3 of your general education courses out of an honors catalog. And then after that point, you work with your honors advisor and your faculty advisor to design honors concentrations for yourself in your major specific courses. So it's for a student that wants a little more autonomy and maybe switching out this project for one that they've designed to be a little more specific to something that they're interested in. It's a very cool program. There's a lot of opportunities for camaraderie with other students that like that kind of creative boost. It's supposed to be different work, not just more work. But again, you're kind of at the helm of what your honors program experience is going to be. There's a special, cord you get to wear at graduation, but will it immediately give you $50,000 more when you graduate? Probably not. It's more about your personal educational edification. Does
Is
that
there
make sense?
any financial help as a part of being in the honors program? Do you get an extra scholarship or a grant for any learning experiences?
Great question. Not at this time, but the fee is waived for the different kind of dorm style versus in the future, if you were to stay in that same dorm, it is used by a couple other groups on campus and it's a little more expensive. So I guess that would be the only kind of financial benefit is the extra cost of living in the honors dorm is waived for those honors students.
Do they get like a priority scheduling or priority advising?
Great question. So at Ohio Northern, you like in your major, you shouldn't have a problem ever getting into the classes that you need to take. So we don't really need priority scheduling, at least in my experience. Same thing with advising. You have this personal faculty advisor that you can meet with pretty much whenever you contact them because they're not meeting with 5,000 students each. So it's a good question, but at this point, I don't think Ohio Northern necessarily needs those perks because our students have that available to them whenever they need.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
All right. We have about 4 more minutes. So I'm going to wrap up with a couple more fun questions, I feel like.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
let's do it.
what would you say, who would you say has been the most exciting guest or speaker on your campus?
Mm. So we have this one alumni, Bob Peterson, who's an Imagineer at Disney. And if you've seen Monsters, Inc., he plays the voice of Roz. And if you've seen Up, he plays the voice of Doug. And he is hilarious and very nice and a very involved alumnus as well. So he has like a little like place in our engineering building where we show little pictures of everything that he's doing at Disney and Pixar. And having him come back to speak to our students is always very fun because it's cool how he turned this career in mechanical engineering and just by who he is and the creativity and imagination that he has, turned into a little bit of a voice actor too. I think that's a pretty cool story. So we enjoy having him back as many times as he'll come. We also had Drake Bell from Drake and Josh on campus a couple years ago, and he played a concert and it was awesome. So those are my two answers.
That's awesome. We're actually going to Disney next week, so I'm going to keep my eyes peeled.
Look at
Uh,
that. Keep your
And
eye out for Bob Peterson.
I know that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's such a small world, so that's great. And then lastly, what is one fun fact about Ohio Northern, or just something that you feel like it makes it unique and special? And I feel like you're going to have such a great answer because you are an alum and you work there. So what is
Yeah,
one
no
fun thing
pressure.
about Ohio Northern?
I would say one fun fact about Ohio Northern is they really put power into the hands of the students to decide what would be fun to have on campus. So we have 233 registered student organizations. One of them is called the Student Planning Committee, and they can bring in pretty much whatever they think will bring the campus together. So they've rented bouncy houses where you can race your friends through obstacle courses, or mud volleyball at the beginning of the year, or Build-A-Bear, but it's stuff your own polar bear. And they do something once or twice a week. So a ton of events over the course of the year just from this one group. And that's one of 233. So I would say one special cool fun fact about ONU is that it's like very active and students kind of get to choose what's going to be fun about it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I have loved learning more about Ohio Northern. Again, being an
Thank you for having
Ohioan and
me.
someone who went to a small school, you think you kind of know, like, oh, I had friends that did the pharmacy program. I had friends that played women's basketball, and just
Mhm.
to hear a little bit more about what you believe makes it special, and ways that we can incorporate it and hopefully add it to students' lists that we think would be a good fit. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate all the insight. So if you are watching this and you want more information, please feel free to reach out to Juliana.
Thank you.
And best of luck to you as you continue to
Thank
travel. I can
you.
see you're in a hotel, so thanks for taking the time,
Of
and
course.
have a great rest of your travel season.
Thank you. Yes, please feel free to reach out anytime. I'm happy to chat. Thank you so
All
much,
right,
Allison.
no problem. Take care.
All right, bye.